Hi, I'm Zach DeBoer, and today I want to talk about downtown parking. And while it can be a controversial topic, no matter how you feel about it, there's one thing we can all agree on: we all want more. And while mixed-use parking ramps are great ways to add density to downtown, they can be costly to build and sometimes complicated. However, adding on-street parking is a lot easier and a lot more affordable. And honestly, when people come downtown, these are the spots they're hoping to find: highly visible and as close to the business they want to visit as possible. So with that in mind, I'm going to show you how we can add over 700 parking spaces to downtown Sioux Falls with just a little paint. Before we start, I wanted to share a little Sioux Falls street redesign success story with you. In 2016, the city of Sioux Falls implemented a pilot project called the Main Avenue Road Diet that converted an unneeded traffic lane into angled parking spaces and sidewalk bump outs. The project added 60 parking spaces to the core of downtown. It helped slow illegally speeding traffic, and it increased pedestrian and commercial traffic throughout the corridor. The project was a success on all fronts. We'll be using this project as an inspiration for some of what I'm about to propose. Let's start on Dakota Avenue. Just like the Main Avenue Road Diet, we can remove an unneeded travel lane and add dozens of spaces between 14th and 6th Street. This will add valuable parking spaces and calmer traffic for people visiting the Pavilion, MB, the YMCA, Carnegie Hall, and others. Next, let's move over to Phillips Avenue, which is already a very pedestrian-friendly street. So let's fill in the missing spots, like here outside Kello and the Elride Shrine. And this whole stretch between 9th and 6th Streets. We can also add a few more spaces here, south of 5th Street. And since we're in the neighborhood, let's hop over to Main Avenue. By removing this center turn lane, we can add angled parking to both sides of the street. This area of downtown is busy with activity at all times of the day. Adding parking and increased pedestrian safety would be a great relief to those that visit it. We'll add a few spaces along 6th Street for those same reasons. Next up, 8th Street. East Bank is always bustling with activity and is a major retail and restaurant destination for downtown. For that reason, I think this area should start to look a little more like Phillips Avenue, with angled parking, narrower lanes, and plenty of pedestrian space. Let's take the first easy steps and add angled parking throughout this corridor. As we move back into the core of downtown, we can again remove the unneeded center turn lane and convert both sides of 9th Street into angled parking. Continuing on to River Road, we can eliminate the outside lanes and convert them into parallel parking spaces. Fewer lanes will help slow speeding cars coming into downtown over the viaduct. 2nd Avenue is wide enough for angled parking on both sides of the street, outside Faywick Park and the soon-to-be-built Kirby Dog Park. We can also add a bunch of spaces outside the post office, which if you've ever had to drop something off at the downtown post office, it's needed. We have the space to add angled parking all over this part of town, which is good news for the local restaurants and retailers like Game Chest, Tommy Jack's, Common Sense, Total Drag, and The Breaks, who all call this part of downtown home. Moving over a street to 1st Avenue, we can add an additional 30 parking spaces to the downtown core. And finally, I saved my favorite changes for last: 10th and 11th Street. 10th and 11th are both 3-lane roads, with parallel parking on both sides of the street. Very similar to Main Avenue before the road diet. These two one-way behemoths push around 10,000 vehicles through the heart of downtown every day. If you've ever walked along or across these streets during rush hour traffic, you know it's not the most pleasant experience. Speeding cars, wide pedestrian crossings, and blind spots make this a perfect candidate for redesign. By removing a traffic lane and changing one side to angled parking, we could dramatically change the way these roads are used for the better. Not only are we adding dozens of primo parking spaces to the center of downtown, we're simultaneously slowing down speeding cars and creating a safer environment for people. And here's the best part about this one. We already know that this stretch of 10th Street can function as a 2-lane street. For over a year, an entire lane was closed off due to the parking ramp behind me. Life and traffic continued on without the additional lane. I say we put all that extra pavement to good use so more folks can visit places like the Pavilion, MB, the YMCA, or any of the phenomenal businesses that populate this block of downtown. So there you have it, over 700 parking spaces just waiting to be painted. Downtown is the cultural, social, and economic engine that fuels Sioux Falls. If we just invest a small amount of our CIP dollars into a project like this, we would see massive returns on investment. And finally, a big thanks to our sponsor, MarketBeat, for their financial support. Without their help, this video could not have happened. Check out marketbeat.com for more info.